So let's take a look and see the energy coming towards us this week. Lately, I've been called, or I'm being called, to use decks I don't typically use. So bear with me. I may have to read from the book, right? But I've found that when I'm being directed towards a particular deck, it's for a reason. So this time around, we're going to use our Fairies Oracle. So this one, right? You can see it. And then we're going to clarify with another fairy deck, which is the Fairies Tarot. Okay, so this one. We're going to clarify with this one, the Fairies Tarot. I got a little tickle in my nose. Ooh. Okay, so let's give it a shuffle. And fairies lately have been calling to me too. And then we'll see what comes out. All right, Spirit. Message for the collective. Okay. Ooh, some of you have a blank one. Fairy guide. So that means you can choose, right? So some of you I'm finding, let me slow down, are being given a clean slate, right? I'm hearing that the slate has been made clean. And it's for you to write your new chapter, right? So you can now, you're at a point, some of you may be getting some kind of do-over, is what I'm hearing. So you're at a point when you can create whatever it is that you desire, right? Because now you're being, like a portal's being opened, right? You're now being given a new lease on life. So what story are you going to create? What story are you going to write? Okay, wait a minute now. Whoa, okay. Oh, Lord, did you see that? The whole thing came down. Oh, Jesus. Let me start over. Wait. All right. So you know what? I'm going to keep it because everything that happens in a reading is supposed to happen. So just as I said, right, some of you have been given a new lease on life. The camera, the ring light, everything just came tumbling down. And it's for a reason, because when you see the cards that come out, it makes sense. Remember I said that it seems like a portal is now opening up, right? And that some of you are now being given a new lease on life. Let me try and do this and not have the damn thing fall down again. Sorry. So what I am getting is, because you have Guardian of the Gate, right? And then you also have Honesty. Look at this poor little guy right here. And then you also have Rar, the Rar. And this would explain that explosive energy a while ago where the camera, the ring light, everything just collapsed. Because what I'm getting is two things. So some of you, remember I was saying the Guardian, right? So it's like there's this portal that's opening and some of you are being given this new lease on life because you've been doing the work. So because you've been doing the work, it's like now new things are going to open up to you. Ways and pathways, I hear, that had been blocked are now going to open because now you've earned the right to enter this portal, right? Or earn the right to now having things go more smoothly in your life because you've done something where you're now coming into alignment. And so the Guardian of the Gate, which is interesting because I was watching, yesterday was Gods of Egypt. And it was talking about, the gods and the different gods and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know why I'm going with that, but was there one who was guarding the gate? I don't think so. But anywho, this Guardian of the Gate doesn't just let anybody in, right? Their job is to make sure that the people who are entering, are aligning. They've been doing the work. They're vibrationally in alignment, right? Their frequencies are in alignment. And as a result, you can now enter this gate, right? So especially if it's something where you're being initiated into a higher calling, right? Maybe like a spiritual calling or anything where you're going to be, where you have to guide and help other people. And the reason that's happening is some of you are now tapping into your honesty, or you're being called to speak honesty, right? Speak honestly. Be clear, be transparent. This isn't the time for gray area. This is not the time for omissions. This is not the time for word games. This is the time to be direct. This is time to be frank. This is time to be honest. This is the time to speak plainly. And some of you, I feel, are going to do just that because you have this rar. And rar is a lot of masculine energy. It's a lot of passion. It's a lot of built up stuff that may have been suppressed in the past. But again, some of you are now getting to the point where you just don't care anymore, right? If something isn't working for me, if it's not in alignment, if I'm not happy, I am now expressing this. And as you are, right, trust me, new doorways are going to open up to you. New pathways are going to open up for you. So let me go ahead and clarify. But that's what I'm getting. And that would explain why my ring light and everything just came falling down. Because some of you have been in this suppressing kind of energy for very long. And as a result, you have a lot of things built up, a lot of passion. Some of your sacral chakra might also be on fire, right? But, we can use that sacral energy for creativity, to do creative things. You don't have to give into it and, do other things with it, right? But you can use it to work and fire up your creative projects. And in this case, I'm getting it's more in terms of speaking and being honest. So if there's something you want to say, look, you have the Ace of Winter, Ace of Swords. Go ahead and say it. This is not the time to be quiet. This is not the time to suppress. This is not the time to be dishonest. This is a time for honesty. And as you do, trust me, your vibration is rising, and you're going to find that you're going to have new opportunities coming up. And again, things that were blocked are no longer going to be blocked. All right, Spirit, clarify the guardian at the gate. Oh, Lord, they always have to give me so many cards. Okay, so here, remember I was telling you, you have the King of Swords, right? King of Swords is a very honest, very transparent energy, but very diplomatic, right? They speak their truth, but they say it in a way that it's very professional, right? Again, very diplomatic. You have the Two of Cups, so it could be in terms of a love relationship or in terms of, something that you love to do, right? You also have Justice cards, so that's, again, coming into alignment, speaking your truth and balancing out a situation, especially if it's a situation where there was some sort of injustice, or you feel, or somebody feels that there was some sort of injustice, right? It's like a portal or a gateway is being created now where these wrongs can be made right, where things can be balanced out. And then here you have the Three of Pentacles. So in terms of, it can be romantic, doesn't have to be. Could be in terms of working with other people, other projects like we were saying. And again, they're telling me that when you do this, you're going to find that routes or pathways that were once blocked are now going to be made open, right? So your creative projects are going to start to flow. Your ideas are going to start to flow once you start speaking honestly and continue to align with your higher self, right? It says follow your passion when it comes to your career. Be the best at what you do, being compensated for your creative talents. So you might be getting a raise as well. All right, let's clarify. Oh, and then here you have unity. So again, do the right things for the right reason. And this is where I say you're coming into alignment, because that reminds me of the Hierophant card. So some of you are coming into alignment when it comes to your spirituality, right? In terms of your higher calling. Okay, let's clarify honesty. Yeah, see, right now I was telling you, it doesn't behoove you now. You have the Seven of Swords. The Spirit is saying this is not the time to be honest. Sorry, dishonest. Freudian slip there. This is the time to be honest. This is not the time to be dishonest, right? It says here, there's a better choice, not seeing things clearly, running away from the truth. And some of you may have been feeling that it wasn't the time to be honest, but Spirit's saying this is the time, right? Honesty. This is not the time for side speak. This is not the time for mind games. This is the time to make what you feel and what you know very clear. Now let's clarify RAR. And then look, here you have in the Tower. And remember I told you how this thing just came down? Let me tell you, man, some of you are going through it. And a big part of it is because you're not expressing how you truly feel about the situation. You've been keeping a lot of things pent up and buried for a very long time. And now it's coming out because you have the Tower, right? So a lot of times when we keep things suppressed, it can manifest itself in other ways. And as much as you're trying to control a situation, it will have a way of just blowing up on you. Just like how this whole thing collapsed, And I said, you know what? Normally I would have edited that out. I'd have cut it out. But I said, everything happens for a reason in a reading, right? So yes, some of you are going through big changes, because this says, let go of belief systems that no longer work for you, and important life-changing events. And some of you are going to have some massive big changes coming up, important events coming up. But it's going to lead to, right? Because it's a situation that leads to significant opportunities. And remember how we started the reading. We started reading with you have a new lease on life, but you have to kind of keep aligning with the energy. But this is what Spirit is granting you, because it's like a thank you and a congratulations for doing the work and speaking your truth and aligning with your true authentic self. Remember honesty, right? That's going to be the key this week. Honesty. So anywho, I hope that was helpful. Catch you next time. Bye.